Number 3. Platinum on the blue side for the last game. CLG over on the red. Best different and Aurelia banned away. Malzahar banned away once again by CLG. And everything returns to normal.
We're in there. So, the bans and picks coming up pretty quick. Sivir is already a change here, going to be taken off the table. And Malzahar Shen, same two from CLG last time. They have done a little bit of flexing with that last ban, but interesting to see the Sivir taken away, by C9. They were the ones who had it in the second game. It's won actually both its games. It's done very well in these lane matchups, and Sivir has been actually performing admirably against the Lucian, who is traditionally supposed to be this lane bully. May want to be able to set themselves up for perhaps a Lucian pick of their own, or just even denying it. If you don't want to take the Karma, you don't want to give away that S-tier bot lane duo.
Well, Gragas actually the last ban there for Cloud9, so a lot of the big elements from the first 2 games that both teams used to great success were actually taken out by Cloud9. This will maybe force CLG into another top priority ban. Maybe the Vladimir keeps getting taken away, but oh, and it does. Yep,
Vlad's off the table once more. People are very scared of this champion, and we talked about it before the cast. Actually, it's been interesting to see. It's still pretty high priority in this patch, but 6-12, Vladimir had a win rate in competitive of about 77%. 6-13, which we're on now, it is winning under 40% of its games. It's like 38, 39% win rate right now. So Vladimir has not been performing since the nerfs, but people still obviously are respecting it very highly.
Yeah, it's just some of that memory, It's like, well, it used to be amazing. It must be still good. Yeah. Cassiopeia is actually the first pick overall for Cloud9. Gnar and Rek'Sai will finally make an appearance into the jungle as Xmithie takes it away. With Gragas ban, I guess it makes sense, but it's a huge win for CLG.
Darshan going to be back on the Gnar. 3rd time's the charm. We'll see if he can perform as well as he did in game 1, or if he's going to be a little bit more ineffective like he was in game 2. Game 1 really was probably the best Gnar game I've seen this season in the NA/LCS. Very impressive, getting the early lead in the 1v1, extending it to the team fights, and it's not easy to do. It's so hard to actually time those engages, those TPs now on the Gnar.
It's just nice to see, though, Darshan, not on something like Jax or Fiora or Aurelia, being able to play something like Gnar, which is a bit more like a tank, and have great success. Even had a decent lane in game 2. Elise and Ashe, though, are the picks for Cloud9. Sneaky straight back to a different utility AD carry.
It's going to be the Ashe. Those snipers, they're very, very popular right now. Meteos is going to be in there on the Elise. Traditionally, in the past, have been one of his most popular picks. It always really been known for Elise. Zac was another one of his favorites back in the day, too. And to speak a little bit more about Darshan, he is a fantastic split pusher. He has that reputation, but if you look at CLG at MSI, what was he playing? He's playing Poppy. He's playing tanks that have team fight impact. That's exactly what Gnar can do. Darshan really does like to play for the team, even when he's maybe should be in the side lane and picking up that farm. Sometimes he's looking to group. He's looking to make plays, and I think that someone like Gnar who can carve out a 1v1 advantage, extend that if he gets it, but can still group and look for those team fight plays is going to be good for him.
Looks like things are going to settle down in the mid lane, though. Bard taken by Afromu, so we'll take that off Smoothie's hands after a good game 2 there. But Huhi back to Azir, nice and stable. Sorry, back to Victor, not Azir. Didn't fancy the Azir after Jensen gave him the business in mid lane. So Victor should be nice and safe here, particularly if he holds on to that exhaust.
Yeah, the desk wanted to see it. They're going to get their wish. Victor coming out. Very stable mid laner here. Has fantastic wave clear, great team fighting presence. Always a fan of the pick. And Bard is another strong one on Afromu. Anytime you see him playing it, there's so much big play potential. The ultimate fantastic engage tool. We saw Smoothie making a really big difference in a lot of those plays, and even the early laning phase getting themselves an advantage with some great cosmic bindings.
Smoothie will actually round things out with a Braum pick, so kind of wants to counter some of what Bard is doing there. Impact, though, back to Trundle, which now the 3rd time we'll see this 1v1 with the same champions. Neither top laners swap matchups. Will likely get standard lanes again if game 1 and 2 are any indicator. And despite Darshan's good-looking games, I think Impact's looked a little bit better on the Trundle.
Certainly has. Last game, played very well. Ezreal the pick. I was thinking we might have seen Lucian again, to be honest, but Ezreal's safe pick, very solid, is going to be one of 6A's most played last split, actually. He played this champion an absolute ton, and I'm not sure exactly how scared C9 has to be now that it's the Ezreal. I think if it was Lucian or something, he really probably would have wanted to avoid that more heavily with the range support kind of advantage in that poke, but I really do feel like Ashe matches up relatively well against the Ezreal. You can kind of out-push him, You have the target on executes from the Braum. You can kind of just get the push and survive the lane that way. You don't necessarily have to make it into this kind of poking duel. When you shove them into their turrets, you got to use the Qs, you got to use your spells on just last hitting.
So we've definitely seen 6A and Afro have some pretty good looking games. Game 1 in particular was a nice little head start for them, and then they just snowballed that into a nice little pressure advantage as well. It's been the little things that are starting to add up here, but we're just going to play a best of one effectively for this series now, as they have gone the distance to a game number 3. Coaches will shake hands. Drafts again looking relatively similar, but Cassiopeia has been the X factor. See if Jensen can do it again, or if Victor, nice and stable as per usual.
Yeah, we'll have to see. A lot of it has come down to the laning phase in mid lane. Solo kills going back and forth in game 1 and 2 between Huhi and Jensen. If one of them could get that massive advantage in the mid lane again here in game 3, could spell a team fight win, or sorry, rather a series win for the team.
Certainly could, but we're ready to settle the score. So take your last shot at your fan vote by tweeting out your support. Use the hashtag C9win or the hashtag CLGwin to will your team to a game 3 and match victory. Let's do it. Last game here for match of the week. Cloud9 and CLG gonna play one more time.
Every time I hear the words match of the week now, I just got the let's go playing in my head. It's sinking in.
Well, that's what these players are thinking, let me tell you, because it is indeed time, Azael.
Yep. Jensen
gonna wiggle his way out of base.
That's a good way to describe it. I would have said slither. I respect the choice of wiggle, though.
Now we're going to pick up a chime, see if he can't get some visions out. Everyone's just fanning out so far. We have had standard lanes in every single game so far. Managed to invert them in game number 2 when both teams predicted a swap. But Smoothie and Sneaky, oh, they don't pick up that first juicy CS. Trinket Ward stays alive. Battling hard for CLG.
Heartbreak in the bot lane. You wanted that CS. Got to get that 1 gold. At the same time, we have these guys spreading out. The CLG bot lane is actually kind of positioning around mid. I'm not sure if Afro wants to go back down or if they are looking to swap out. Either way, they're kind of playing it pretty far back, and they do head over towards the Grom. It's going to be C9 opting into the lane swap, and whether that's because they're trying to avoid this matchup or because they're anticipating the swap from CLG is really hard to say. I do think traditionally you would say the edge goes to the bar because of the range support matchup, but when you have Ashe, I do feel like can really out-push the Ezreal. It can kind of even out.
Well, definitely going to get a lane swap here. So, thinning things up after the first few games. Jensen and Huhi, though, going to get some alone time here in this mid lane. And Huhi's going to have to play pretty safe to not have what happened in game 2 really affect him again. Jensen was able to carve out a huge pressure lead and then eventually an actual lead in the 1v1. And with no jungler attention maybe coming as often as it could have in standard lanes, gonna have to make sure they play safe there. Impact, though, has already been spotted. Jig's up here in the lane swap. Impact should be able to make it out safely. Afro gonna look for the binding, but a nice little juke out of the way from Impact keeps him safe. But this is all stuff we've seen before. Both these teams are very well practiced in this particular maneuver.
Certainly are, and top laners kind of getting greedier and greedier these days as supports look to roam more. You can see Braum hanging around mid lane, which means Darshan can stick around the top side and pick up more farm. He actually came back. He's almost level 2 now. I think 1 or 2 creeps off that. Got a couple CS for himself, so he still needs to play it safe, but Afro is just being so annoying here.
He's dedicated. Even took a tower shot for it. As that's a flash ball. Xmithie going to flash after him for the Umbara. Meteor's team is already there. Xmithie, though, is going to go down as well.
Return kill, jungler for jungler. Thankfully for C9, it didn't go over to Huhi, so he's not going to have that first blood gold himself. But Jensen is going to lose a lot of this farm, and Meteos, I would have expected him to actually stick around and pick this up, but deciding to go for the blue buff instead. Yeah, actually pretty surprised they didn't stay around. That's a full wave that's going to go to waste.
Yep.
Either way, here is the play. Jensen does have to flash quickly out of there, but it's Smithy. He does not pop up before the flash. He follows. He gets the knock-up. They have the following damage in from Huhi. Meteos very quick to respond, though. Gets the trade kill. Nicely done by him.
Yeah, maybe a second behind, actually converting that around the other way, but instead, CLG will get first blood, and Cloud9 will answer quickly back. No assist either for Jensen's a bit of heartbreak, but we are just going to try and swap these turrets down. Darshan already got gold on the top side. Impact's now going to collect gold on this particular outer turret. They actually will share some of it, but Impact will get the way pushing back towards him, so should be able to get some of those minions as well.
I really love the little mind games in these jungle ganks, though. Smithy flashes in, doesn't immediately unburrow because he is respecting Jensen enough to say, hey, Jensen's too fast. He's actually going to flash out before I can pop him up. So he saves his knock-up, He flashes after him, lands it, and that was really the key to getting it, is that little kind of mini game that these two players are having.
And here's something that actually Jensen's normally used to on the Meteor side of Rek'Sai. Early blue buff over to Huhi, as Xmithie on Rek'Sai is able to give that over very quickly. We saw Meteor's already take his, so kind of needed that for his early jungle power. We'll see if that makes a huge difference in mid lane, or if Huhi is just able to kind of ride that assist gold out and have a safe lane for himself. But definitely we noted jungle attention was maybe lacking in game number 2. It allowed Jensen to sort of take over. Certainly here in this particular game, as Jensen's already suffered a death again.
Yeah, kind of been getting the Bjergsen treatment in the last few weeks, where he is starting to get ridiculous amounts of attention from the enemy jungler. But Impact here to try to help him out. We'll see if they can get a counter kill.
Another gank looking for a pillar, kind of blocks off his entrance. Hui does not have flash, and that's Jensen getting a kill. Very well played by Impact.
Impact again with the high value roams here. He's doing so well for himself. It's a level 3 Trundle, wanders into the lane, knows there's no flash, and that's a level 3 Jensen killing off a level 5 Huhi. So that disadvantage was becoming very problematic. Great job by the C9 top laner.
Ever the team player, able to convert for a nice little kill there, and Jensen pretty much right back in the lane. Meteor's going to find Xmithie as he moves into the Gromp and CLG's blue side of the jungle. Does find a pink ward. It's a Prey Seeker, but it's going to clear out some vision. Xmithie consolidates, goes back to this wolf camp instead, but we actually are just swapping turrets here, so not the safer side for Xmithie to be on. He's going to try and sneak away the big wolf, but Meteor's here to challenge, and Xmithie's just going to burrow away.
Yeah, does have to walk out of there knowing it's a weak side of the map, even though traditionally should be his side, and Jensen is gifted the time to go back and get that tier, which is very crucial. You need to get that stacking early and often, so we'll be able to do that.
And Impact, I think, might have shared some gold again, but Darshan is around for the local gold. Right now, you can see a gold difference kind of there for Darshan. He's up ever so slightly, but Impact will catch up with a pretty big stack of minions to chomp away at. So top laner's feeling pretty happy with the situation so far. But it looks like Sneaky's going to go back to top lane with Smoothie. So we'll see where the lanes end up. We might have some extended 2v1 laning here. As it looks like Stixxay is also coming down to the bottom lane. Top lane is going to have to wait for their farm.
Huhi level 6 now. Jensen's going to have to be careful. Definitely does not want to get into a fight until he has his level 6, so going to have to play it pretty carefully here. And Huhi's going to look to try to push that advantage, and does get a stun and nice little bit of damage in on him. Vincent will get health back, though, from the Twin Fang, so can kind of regen a fair bit of this, and it's actually pretty impactful. Something that is overlooked very often about the Cassiopeia is you can heal back up a lot of that damage from it.
Got Tyrion blue buff as well, so not running out of resources anytime soon. Aphromoo looks to pressure Meteos there, but doesn't quite hit on the Cosmic Binding, and Meteos will just clear out the wards and take his camp away. Level 3 only for Aphromoo after the lane swap. Support's pretty underleveled as they've been moving around the map pretty actively.
So that support life, man. You got to give the solo XP to your carries. So Sneaky can get that level 6 for the Ash Arrows, and Smoothie is in the same pool. He's level 3 as well. And you can fall very far behind, and sometimes can end up being a pretty free kill as a supporting competitive when you're really down on XP.
Got to be careful. And you can see Cloud9 just taking back over their strong side of the map. CLG might even look to do the same. We could continue the trades. Good binding onto Impact. Find some poke through. No ultimate just yet for Trundle, so not particularly safe with just a Tiamat and a Ruby Crystal. Stixxay and Afro going to try and take that tier 2, but Sneaky and Smoothie doing the same as Darshan. Also forced off here.
Good ward here from Impact. Smells the dive coming. Not going to give Smithy a chance. He wants to try to get some of his XP, but he's not really going to be having any ability to do so. And same treatment being given over to Darshan here. And although that does kind of weaken it up, it honestly just means more of the CS is going to be denied, as C9 will still pick up that turret and backfires a little bit.
Yeah, can't keep pushing maybe. But CLG also don't really have the wave in the best spot to do so. So turret's just going to be traded instead. That's 3 turrets apiece, as we've stuck in these 2v1s for a little while longer than usual. But looks like everyone just wants the safe gold more than anything else. It'll be interesting to see how the lane assignments stick, because at some point, top laners need to play catch up and get their farm, unless teams want to get really crazy and just start trading turrets left and right.
This could be the time, as Impact was trying to set up a little bit of freeze there. We'll see if they actually rotate him top, or if they do gift him over some of this farm. It's just going to be a matter of where they're placing the priority, because Stixxay is up a bit in the farm on Sneaky, and Darshan already has an edge on Impact as far as that goes. So some sacrifices being made. Huhi's winning mid lane as far as the farm goes too. So everything looking pretty good across the board, but those kills for C9 have evened things out.
Sneaky with an arrow, but looking for Huhi perhaps, but he does have cleanse available. very key summoner spell versus Cassio and Ashe, but Ocean Drake over to CLG. So able to take advantage of the fact that their play was on the bottom side of the map. C9 will see if they make a trade for maybe the Rift Tower later on, or if they're just content to give the first Drake away. As it stands though, looks like these dual lanes are just trying to avoid each other for as long as possible, wanting to collect their farm safely.
Really does feel like just picking Ashe essentially means the other mid laner has to play with Cleanse. And Darshan far up here does have his flash, but there's no turret, and Meteos is coming. We'll see if they can actually land the slows. They need to make sure they tag him. Smoothie can wait for it. Yep. They're going to try to delay.
Got vision. Darshan going to try and get out, but yeah, just gets tagged, and that's going to be a kill. Sneaky going to get it. Gets himself the first kill of the game.
Smart by Darshan, not blowing his flash once he realizes the jig is up, but it's another kill for C9, and that can be that situation where as a top laner, you're so frustrated by all this time where you're having to just watch farm bleed away, and you're like, finally, I can get some CS. Turns out you can't get that CS pastry, you're going to die.
Yep, well-timed gank there as Smithy takes away the Raptor. Jensen going to go ahead and take his blue buff. Cloud9 with a smart little play, managing to take out Darshan. Meteos going to take his Grump, and again, everyone's just going to collect their free farm. And honestly, in that situation, Darshan is also basically a piece of free farm. Like, it's awkward.
He's just one killed. Big ugly caster minion on that Gnar.
Pretty much, at least at that point. Up in CS right now, so his greed at least gets in that lead, but giving Sneaky some extra gold, maybe not where they want to be. This game, though, certainly up to a much different pace to the last two. We had an explosive start to game one from CLG, and then equally explosive from Cloud9 in the second.
Yeah, the lane swaps definitely slow things down a bit, but still 4 kills by 10 minutes. Pretty fast for those lane swap standards. And CLG, full control of the bot side of C9's jungle. Look at all those wards over there. So many Rek'Sai tunnels. We do have a lot of ability for them to move around and try to control this side. When will C9 make the move to try to regain some of the vision? We'll have to find out, because it's a split bush Ashe up in the top lane. And he has to be a little bit careful, because if you go too far, yes, they have a vision on a lot of the members right now. They know where they are. But even just a Gnar could probably just chase you down and kill you. So Sneaky is going to try to get this pushed in and then wants to base, but he does not want to give up the freeze, which is critical, and we'll be able to get everything.
Make sure the wave goes in. Darshan going to try and collect what he can, but this is a pretty annoying turret to last hit against. Darshan does get the cannon, so everything is right with the world. And he's going to pick up that farm safely this time around.
Ooh, unlucky.
Not get killed.
Misses a couple, gets a couple too, though. Not too bad. It's a passing grade.
Well, I mean, better than getting killed, but what happened last time, I suppose. Darshan will take the little things at this point. This top lane is kind of starving, but both getting their farm here and there, which isn't too bad. Jensen, the returns with the Morellonomicon already completed, so some early CDR and ability power. Nice and aggressive from Jensen. And looks like perfect Hex Core is actually the rush for Huhi with the cooldown boots.
Okay, so some CDR in there. He's going to work towards the Rylai's next. Sometimes people like to pick up a little bit of AP before they work towards a perfect Hex Core. You'll see sometimes players will just get a large rod or something to add a little bit of oomph to their spells, but not going to be the choice this time. Does give himself a little bit more utility. He has the speed up from the Q, the extra burn on the laser, and his ultimate's going to move a lot faster. So once he has the Rylai's, you have the speed up, you have the slow down. Very hard to escape. Becomes extremely frustrating for other players to deal with.
In fact, actually going to recall, there were 3 men pushing this bottom side of the map. It's Sneaky with a Rune's Hurricane already completed. A pickaxe there as well for a bit of additional AD, but they're just shoving out the waves. Meteor's going to try and take away the Gromp. Does steal it out from under CLG. Darshan's getting the wave going in top lane, but Impact's finally there to meet a juicy, juicy wave.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of farm for himself here, and Impact, once again, having a pretty solid game. You know, picked up as much farm as he possibly could. He's down a couple CS, but that's not a big deal at all, especially when you consider the roam he made to help Jensen in what was looking like a very tragic lane.
And looks like action around the right side of the map, perhaps. They've got the Ashe Arrow at the ready, so CLG cannot afford to go mindlessly through their own jungle, which is kind of what that looks like.
He's going to try to bait. He's thinking, hey, look at me. I'm here by myself. I'm clearing out this ward. But Afro, a little bit too smart for that. And no one else was around to support. But if Smithy was there, maybe Afro goes in thinking they can get a kill, and it would have been a disaster for CLG had it happened.
No Drake to take yet either. Cloud Drake up in a minute 15, so we'll see if Cloud9 or CLG fancy themselves some action around that area. Frozen Mallet finished for Darshan though, so first items coming on board for pretty much everyone. And looks like Stixay probably going for the Iceborne Gauntlet, but we've seen Trinity Force Ezreal now and then. Doesn't have that standard Manamune though, so we'll see what Stixay feels like doing today.
Definitely expecting to see that Frozen Gauntlet. That thing is very, very annoying to deal with. You get so much CDR. You're able to really be quite pesky and kite people out very effectively. So it's definitely the standard competitive build. Triforce not bad, but I think we're going to see the other build.
Well, looks like Cloud9 want to secure vision around the Dragon Pit. Do so. That pink orb gets taken out. Blue buff getting gifted over by Huhi, or at least being prepped to do so. Stixxay, though, might actually get it here. No, they're going to save it, make sure the Victor gets it. Does Death Ray it down and take it away. Drake not up just yet, so Cloud9 can't quite make a move here. Darshan peeking his head in, but doesn't see anyone there on the left side, Cloud9 jungle.
Yeah, was perhaps trying to look to get ready for a dive. He charged up his Narbar on the Scuttle Crab, and he's actually looking to make a flank, and he's very close to Narring out, so could look to do so if CLG sees the opportunity, but C9 is on to it. Their bot lane is moving quickly up here. We'll see if CLG can make anything happen.
Darshan needs a little bit more rage. Shouldn't be too far away from it, but Cloud9 going to look for a
may look for the arrow.
They just need one pick, but not going to find it yet. Cloud9 might just consolidate, looking to shove mid perhaps.
Yeah, they have the inside track now as Smithy and Darshan moved off to the side. If they could zone these guys out, they may actually be able to get a lot of damage done, but looks like they're not going to make the move.
Could be worth it for the blue buff.
We'll go for Dragon.
Smithy's about to steal, but I guess I'll take the Drake instead. Should be able to pick this one up. Looks like CLG aren't interested in challenging them for it. It's just a Cloud Drake after all. And in fact, might even trade for the Rift Tower, which could be a big win for Darshan, given that he's up against that Tronda 1v1 and does have the Frozen Mallet up already.
Does take longer to kill, but looks like they're going to get it no problem as Seeki's not moving up at all. He's just trying to shove in these waves, and nice little edge will be gifted over here to Darshan. I expect him to get it. Does do so. Has that Frozen Mallet. Will he go for Black Cleaver this time around? Jensen's going to be strong, but it's not the same kind of situation as last game.
Yeah, it's been, again, a much slower paced game here to start things off. Darshan probably has more time to hang out in side lanes, and they're really long because of the lane swap as well. So, be pretty good to try and chase down that Trundle. Does already have the Mallet ready, so Impact does have to tread carefully. And looks like C9 are just committed to getting Sneaky to 2 or 3 items, it feels like. He's been bottom lane for a long time with lots of protection, getting that free farm there. He's now going to finally make a shot in. Be curious to see how far along he is towards that Infinity Edge. He's pretty close. Just have the BF sword now added in.
Yeah, I wonder if he is going to go IE. The pickaxe does kind of lend itself to that, but it may have just been a buy he could afford. And he may actually decide to go for Essence Tree for a second. That's been a really popular build for Ashe, because getting all that CDR is so nice when you want to spam out your W, spam out the arrows, and it can be a pretty effective build. Having high CDR allows you to fish for those arrows so much more often, and that is really where Ashe does shine. So wouldn't be surprised to see either way. You know, you could kind of pivot, pick up Caulfields, and get that Essence Reaver, and then just use that pickaxe either for a Last Whisper later or to complete an Infinity Edge, you know, third or wherever it happens.
Well, whatever's going on, Sneaky's taking his time, making sure he gets his farm. So both AD carries actually trading back and forth as Stixxay finds himself with almost a 20 CS lead. Maybe being a little bit more efficient with that map movement. CLG playing well together. Once again, looking to assault the mid lane here.
And it's Impact opening up a lead for himself in the top lane, so doing very, very well. CLG, though, looks like they have this turret.
Yep, they are going to take it. That's actually a big break. CLG going to even the goal back up and find themselves a nice geographical lead. Impact forced to flash out. Does get himself under the Bard ultimate.
It's the power of the Bard ulti. Just throws it out, gets himself a flash, long cooldown down there, and as Afro picks up more and more CDR, the trade becomes better and better and better. So see if they can look to capitalize on the fact that Impact has no flash, but C9's looking to trade back on the mid lane turret. They're already on it. TP's coming in from Darshan on the bot side, though. He wants to flank. They're going to try to corral them into this Gnar. We'll see if he can do it.
But a little call, perhaps, who he playing forward. Sneaky takes damage. Darshan goes mega, but the cocoon from Meteor is going to stop the engage. Cloud9 don't get the turret, but they do get out with their lives.
Really key cocoon there from Meteos. I think Darshan may have gone for the flash all to pull Ashe back in and kill off Sneaky. Denies it, though. Little plays making a big difference there from Meteos. But CLG has the health advantage. They're kind of aggressively pushing down here, looking to get some chip on this tier 2.
Yeah, Darshan can charge back up and maybe look for the play again. Wave clear too strong, though, from Jensen and co. So Cloud9 able to keep CLG off their mid lane tier 2 turret. Being up a turret's nice for CLG. They have way more space to play with in the center of the map.
Muramana already completed from 6A. That's pretty fast. It was done around 18 minutes, and he went straight for it. So going to have a nice power spike because he picks up the Iceborne Gauntlet on the 2 items, already fully charged. He's going to be very, very strong right now.
Jensen also charging up, and he does have his need to see large rod, plus the Giant's belt, so on the way to Rylai's here, as everyone's just powering up We approach that 20-minute mark. Darshan just curating this wave, going to try and get a bit of a push started. A nice job last hitting those, but Impact again up to meet him. And with that double cloth armor, could be going for that Frozen Heart again. Or I imagine some big armor item, making sure he can handle Darshan in that 1v1.
It could be random, it could be Frozen Heart. Less impactful this game would be the Frozen Heart because Ezreal's not really one of those attack speed type 80 carries, and there's no Azir, so you don't really care about Victor's attack speed, but could still be an option either way. The mana and the CDR is always going to be good for Frozen Heart, so it's not like it's a bad option even if the passive isn't incredible here.
CLG
for the dive
together, yeah. Again, I like the essence of the play here, but C9 are doing a nice job kind of shadowing CLG, making sure nothing goes super wrong in these dives. They kind of know their carries need a little bit more farm here, and they've done a good job distributing wealth evenly across their 3 solo laners.
Yeah, the gold is actually dead even, so even though the kills have been going C9's way, CLG has the exit turret, they are the ones who have really been having map control and kind of aggressively pushing in, and although they may not be able to get the dives, it's always good to kind of threaten, move around, look for opportunities, see if you can't catch someone out of position, and that may be Jensen.
Maybe, Miasma down. Oh, Cocoon does hit! No follow through though onto Xmithy, and as much credit as we can give Cloud9 for defending well. As I say that, Meteos repels back down, Proto belts out the safety though. Could be okay. Xmithy takes some damage with Cloud9. They're looking to chase.
Good look for the Ash Arrow.
Darshan maybe chase.
Still is up.
Ulti back out. Just trading. Good unbreakable from Smoothie. Blocking that true shot barrage. And even these movements are so close, let alone the gold lead.
Yeah, no kidding. These teams just matching each other. Here comes the ulti.
Swag doesn't, but Sixday almost weaves back into it, but Impact gonna try and take him down.
Once it's a 1v1.
Yeah,
the team is not here.
Gonna turn it around. His damage is good. Needs one last Q. That one goes wide. And Impact survives. Now Sneaky gonna tag him with a slow, but the Arcane shifts out to safety, and they can't catch him. Ezreal's out.
First ulti of the game from Sneaky, does not net himself a kill. And a lot of damage going down on that mid lane tier 2. Smoothie still hanging around, trying to deny vision, trying to look for the play. Huhi coming in on the rotation has his ulti available. C9 has to be careful.
Bit of chaos here from CLG. Actually got good chip damage onto the mid lane tier 2, so Cloud9 starting to fall behind a bit as far as these rotations go. They might lose his turret as a result. Huhi gonna stick around, needs a few more autos. One more, does get it. Smithy and Meteos gonna find each other though, but Six's back in the mix. Now goes in for it, lands that second Q. Doesn't get the last one though.
So close to getting that, and 6-8 critically didn't have his flash because of that previous 1v1. Sneaky, they're looking like he wants to go in.
Oh, that fucking from Afro! Smoothie flashes in for it, and 6-8 gets a kill for it. Smoothie almost gonna die, barely gets out alive, and CLG with a slick little play.
Yeah, Smoothie comes up to block, but actually ends up just giving the binding target there for Afro, so he gets locked up, flashed in from Smithy. Nice play from CLG, just moving C9 back and forth across the map, nets them 2 turrets and a kill. They really are starting to extend a pressure advantage.
And gold was dead even, what, 4 minutes ago, if that? And now it's 3,000 gold up for CLG with a huge turret lead. Like, this game has been balanced very precariously, but CLG definitely win that little exchange.
And here it is once again. So Smoothie just wants to defend, but he ends up locking up his own AD carry. They make the call. Impact flashes over, seeing the dive happening, trying to defend. And thankfully, Smoothie does not go down at least, but still a clean kill there from CLG. And it is the IE for Sneaky, so going that more kind of aggressive carry style build.
And he sort of needs the power right now. Arrow hits, finds Stixay.
Coming in.
Cocoon lands as well. The combo to Jensen, able to pick him off at the very end.
Flawless from C9. What a CC chain onto the Ezreal. No hope for 60 to get out of there.
I mean, how long have Sneaky and Meteos been playing Ashe and Elise together? Years at this point. Really showing off their skills with those 2 champions. Comboing Stixay pretty much from 0 to death. Get a tower out of the deal as well. So Cloud9 answer back, and look at that. We're almost back to even.
Very good job. These 2 teams really do seem extremely evenly matched. The big win for CLG in Game 1, C9 matches in Game 2, 2 dominating performances, and now we're treated to a much more even Game 3, and this one is very, very close. Dragons now matched on both sides. Kills relatively close. The edge is really just a couple kills for C9 versus a couple turrets for CLG.
And again, CLG still holding that gold lead as a result, but things could break apart quickly at any moment.
Here it is once more. Sneaky looks for the ult. It was actually an aggressive E forward there from Stixie, which prompted that. And we do see the Cocoon to follow up the ult. So much damage getting piled in. Great job, but now Sneaky may go down.
Oh my god, that damage is huge! Huhi barely misses out. True drop barrage!
so close.
Plus misses as well. And Sneaky escapes this time.
Huhi almost picking up the 1v2 kill, and they're going straight for Baron. They know they have them chunked out. Darshan TPing in. Does C9 know? It doesn't look like it, but they are starting to make the move. Smoothie pretty low here too. Ash is not involved.
They're converging. Huhi tagged. Impact trying to zone them off, but Meteos wants to get in the back. Impact caught up there by the gravity field, and Huhi blows him to pieces. CLG now with a 5v4, but they pull away from Baron.
They have a massive wave in the top lane. They're going to try to look to rotate around here, maybe push us in, try to get some inhibitor damage. We'll see what they can get
Afro
done.
ulti, finds Smoothie. Oh! Barely gets away, but Meteos actually caught still behind the back of the Baron pit. He repels out of the way, but he's got nowhere fun to go. Moves up to the top side and tries to flash out of the way. He's maybe going to escape here, but just gets taken up by Huhi. He's collecting kill after kill.
And the jungler down now. They could look for more. Go back and threaten the Baron once again. The pings are coming in here from CLG. They want to go over. Impact is dead too. Has no TP. Massive waves pushing in top and bottom. Everything has been set up perfectly for CLG to go for this Baron.
It's 2v5 right now for Sneaky and Smoothie, but CLG aren't starting this.
They're
they
baiting.
finally get a look in. Yep, they just want to bait. Impact busy top lane. They know it as well. Now they'll start it, but Huhi spotted out the front. C9 do know this will start up, but they don't have vision of the pit. Lord up for Smoothie may just give him enough time. And Jensen's here as well. CLG do not take the risk versus Cassiopeia. And they back off from the Baron.
It's a hard call to make. CLG decides that the better play is to actually just hang out and wait and try to get another kill before going to secure the Baron. Look how close that is. That's a matter of milliseconds. But they go to the Baron. Yes, they get this kill, chasing down onto Meteos. They're going to be able to clean that up. And
wow. I was wondering how he got away, even though he got picked up here. Didn't have flash, but that blue Tringo bullet betrayed him. CLG, they still pick up the kill on the other end. Meteos not quite slick enough to get away.
it could have been so much worse for C9.
Oh, yeah.
And had CLG actually gone straight for the Baron there, they may have been able to get something done, but they didn't want to make the risk. They wanted to secure it by getting another pick and then going. So it's those split-second decisions matter so much in League of Legends.
Well, still a very delicate game here. Cloud9 behind a bit. CLG with presence around the most integral area of the map, which is the Baron area so far.
So it was the Frozen Heart from Impact. He's completing that up. Darshan close to his Randuins and looking like Smithy building his up as well. But critically, Jensen, 3 items complete now, has the Void Staff in there. He is going to be frightening. Huhi has so much damage coming out of this Victor also. 3 items for him. So these are the key members. It's really going to be a lot about these mid laners who are both incredibly powerful team fighters in these 5v5 situations. And can Afro get the pick? You know, with his ulti, can Sneaky zero someone out with that Ashe ulti? So much is going to be decided in these next moments.
And look at this standoff. Neither team really wants to hard commit, but Sneaky's a pretty juicy looking target. Dodges out from under the death ray. Impact blocks Smithy off there. Darshan taking a bit of poke. Hops away from the cocoon though. C9.
They are pretty grouped. Have to be careful of that Bard ulti.
And they're almost about to dance around to the opposite side of the map at this point. They're trying to avoid each other so much. Cloud9 going to clear that ward in mid lane. CLG going to keep hugging the Baron side.
Yeah, it was actually a really smart play. So C9 wanted the inside track to get the push. So what CLG did is they wrap around, they cut the wave, so they can't actually get the reinforced minions and go for the turret. And that denies them. And now they're moving straight over to top lane. And C9 realizes they have been duped.
Yep, Impact has to go. He's got a huge wave with him, bottom side actually. So we might have a bit of a race on, but Cloud9 have to hit the recall buttons.
They're way too late to this.
Yeah, Meteos actually staying, and Sneaky gonna have to walk around. CLG might get a free inhibitor turret out of the deal.
Maybe just a free inhibitor. I don't know why Meteos is still just staying up there. I guess he feels like they just couldn't have defended. He's actually clearing pink wards out as they're losing their inhibitor, and Impact staying over there. He has his TP, but this isn't inhib going down.
Is he playing aggressive? Gonna zone Jensen out of the fight for a little while longer. Arrow hits Darshan, but that's not the target. Exhaust onto Huhi. He's gonna try and take him out, but Sneaky eating damage from the Victor ulti. Inhibitor looking to fall. Impact a little too late. Now going to try and rush forward and pick himself up a kill. He doesn't get anyone as they make it through the magical journey.
Weird shot calling there from C9 as, I mean, they trade a tier 2 for basically the tier 2 and some vision for an inhibitor and the inhibitor turret. And I guess C9 maybe just thought they couldn't have done anything about it, but Meteos staying around the Baron pit. CLG looking to try to set something up on the exit.
I mean, what have we seen? Split-second decisions have been a huge deal breaker in the last 10 minutes of this game. CLG outthinks C9 for just a moment, and all of a sudden Cloud9 have a gaping hole in the top lane with super minions streaming down. The Baron threat now even realer than it was before. And the goal is still even. Like, one big team fight could go either way. CLG right now just have a bit more time to play around the map and try and find a way to get themselves a little further into the lead. Because when things go wrong, they're going to go really wrong in this game.
They certainly are. And with the inhibitor open, one big team fight for CLG can mean the game ends. That's one of the biggest things. And CLG has actually, even from a goal deficit, looked better moving around the map. They're trying to get a pick on Meteos. Should be fine. But they have been the ones applying more pressure. Even when C9 was headed, Sneaky is very far out here. Will Smithy go?
Don't have Aframu ready for a potential Bard ultimate, so they'll just get some poke down with some ultimates and continue wave clearing away. Looks like the map's actually getting reset somewhat here. There is a Drake up if Cloud9 fancy a third Cloud Drake, or if CLG want it for themselves, but I think Baron is just too important of objective right now. The Drake can wait.
If they could get out that third Cloud, it's pretty nice for moving around the map, though. It's actually an insane movement speed advantage that Cloud9 would have. And on the other side of things, for CLG, if they just take one back, they're only at one disadvantage on that.
Smithy clearing out the pit, tunnels into the back and pops the sweeper on. So you can see that currently CLG have a monopoly of the vision in that area. C9 very slowly pushing up this mid lane. They know they have to be cautious here. One face check could cost C9 the game, but they have to keep tabs on the Baron area as well. The impact of Meteos, pretty tanky. Gonna make sure they check and now start clearing out the pink wards. I think they spotted Darshan on the bottom end. Hui getting blue buff as well means that C9 have time to clear the vision back out, and there's a huge battle around this area. And again, it really just is one play like this.
They got Jensen. Are they gonna get him?
No, Smoothie gonna block. Very well played, able to defend there. Nice help from Aframu, but Jensen does not commit summoners.
Yeah, they get nothing off that. I thought they might have been able to pile in and get a lot more, but risky call to make if they decide to play it safe. But have been a little bit surprised that Siki has not been trying for more Ash arrows. It's been very few and far between this game, and he is a guy who is not usually afraid to just kind of lob them out and try to get those picks. But at this stage in the game, it's harder to do it, and kind of missed his window where you can be more free with him in the early game.
Yeah, just wasn't really allowed to. Smoothie again with another nice block on a Cosmic Binding. Impact quickly took out some minions in the bottom wave, but he doesn't have teleport right now, so it's dangerous to hard commit to any sort of shove with CLG playing so obviously around the Baron pit.
Yeah, they really need to hug this side, and thankfully for C9, they did not give up a bottom inhibitor. This is a lot easier to play around, but they see them starting the Baron. Hawkshot has spotted them. Impact needs to run.
Gotta pump those
this
legs.
Is going down fast.
He's far away. CLG, 50% damage on the Baron already. Hui flashes in. He wants Sneaky. The slow is there. He actually gets it down, and now Stixtail was able to tag him. Hui just kills him with his ultimate. And now CLG with a 5v4. Darshan looking for a big play. Slows on to Impact, but CLG runs straight back to Baron.
Yeah, Sneaky was just up by himself, and Hui capitalizes on it immediately. Great play from him. No hesitation going over for the solo kill on Sneaky.
Ooh, maybe catch onto it. Smithy, very tanky though, and Meteos now caught. 6-8 gonna go over the wall and force a flash out of that at least. True shot barrage, just some poke onto Jensen, but
they're back on Baron.
They have to delay. Sneaky up in 15 seconds. Super minions as well, also causing havoc. I don't think Cloud9 can try and challenge for this Baron, but they're looking to.
I think they're giving it up. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're fast enough. I think this is already gone, and they kind of have to know it at this point, but they are making a move in.
Meteos
now it's just retreat.
Yeah, Meteos not there in time. Tepid Fate tags Smoothie. Meteos trying to defend around, but Smoothie puts up the Unbreakable and hops away. Flashes back to Jensen, which might be enough safety. Afro though, knocked it down. Jensen's been caught. Exhaust is down, and CLG pick it up. Now Impact gonna get nut into the wall. He's pretty tanky, but he's 1v5 right now.
Yeah, and if Impact goes down too, remember, this is Baron. The top lane is open. C9 may have just thrown the game. I think Impact's going to go down here.
The binding gravity field as well. Impact just CC'd forever. And that's going to be a kill for Hui. CLG on the brink of upsetting Cloud9.
They're looking to end. There's 30 seconds on Jensen. I think that C9 had no business checking for the Baron after waiting that long in the 3v5, and it may cost them. Smoothie's going to go down too.
Away, but it's not enough.
Now Meteos.
Unstoppable, and Darshan hops forward looking for Meteos. Sneaky going to get zoned out by Smithy. Top inhibitor goes down. CLG going to move in for the kill.
That's it. No way to defend for C9, and just like that, they throw the game at Baron. CLG will take it 2-1.
Nexus going to exploit, and CLG pick up a much-needed win versus a top-placing team, and Cloud9 finally dropped to a team not named Immortals or TSM.
Yeah. And honestly, that was a pretty shocking way for the game to end. Cloud9 looked out of sorts as far as the late game shot calling. It felt like CLG was moving around the map better, was really remaining in control from the earlier stages of the game. And then they have this trade where they basically get nothing. They give up an inhibitor for free. Their members aren't even basing. Sneaky kind of base checks a little bit on the Ashe. He's too far up, gets sold up by Huhi, and then it's just one after the other. They're walking in, they're checking Baron. When it was already gone, CLG capitalizes and ends the game.
Well, quick correction.
They lost
C9
one to
also lost to Team
Yeah.
Liquid, and now they can add CLG to that list, but
Yeah.
it's not the list they really like looking at. But CLG gonna high-five some fans, and it feels like the faith starting to pick up late into the season, because they talk about this team being on an upward swing. That's a huge momentum win.